After receiving a call from an anxious member of the public on the 9th of December 2009, I attended a location at or near Chichester in West Sussex, where I met up with RSPCA Inspector Carter, and we called the police and an independent veterinary surgeon and went into a stable yard that was locked and bolted. Inside were stables with 4 loose boxes that contained horses. In the first loose box were a couple of grey youngsters. One had collapsed completely and was recumbent against the inside of the door. My immediate concerns were that the horse that had collapsed had obviously been down on a filthy dirty floor, filthy dirty bedding. Both the bedding, a certain amount of hay and the water were contaminated with piles of faeces. We walked into the stable. The horse never attempted to move, let alone get up. He was obviously still alive, but extremely weak. It became very apparent very quickly that the horse was extremely sick and needs weren't being met by the owners. In the loose box directly next door was a young bay that, when we walked in, I could see that her rug was completely covered in liquid green faeces, the whole of the back end. We took the rug off in the box to reveal the fact that she was dangerously thin, and her legs, her inside of her legs, her quarters and her tail were absolutely saturated in liquid faeces. Her tail was so covered that it was difficult to lift, and estimating how much it would weigh, I would say the best part of a kilo just to lift the tail up. No horse should have to live like this in those sort of conditions. As soon as she walked into the yard, the first thing she did was to make for some weeds and a bit of greenery on the opposite side. She was absolutely famished, and it just gave me an indication that possibly her dietary requirements weren't being met. Moving round the yard, the next loose box had the top door closed, and there was a banging and knocking on the door. And when I opened the door, I could see that there was a horse in there, but it was absolutely pitch black. There wasn't one piece of light or ventilation getting into the box. Again, the floor was covered in faeces and urine. Keeping a horse in these sort of conditions, away from its own kind and with no sign of light or ventilation, is unnecessary and can lead to stress. So it was very necessary that this horse be removed and taken to a place of safety with the other horses that we'd found. This was the point where all of the horses then were removed from the location and taken to a place of safety. On removal of the little grey horse to the secure holding, the veterinary surgeon felt that the condition of the little grey had deteriorated to such an extent that the kindest thing to do would be to put her to sleep. I personally feel very, very sad that the owners have been totally neglectful of the horses, and if they'd asked for help from an agency like ours at some stage, then there was a good chance that all 4 would have survived. Last week I went to our rehabilitation centre in Somerset to see the remaining 3 horses that have been in their custody now up until the trial.
My word, she looks absolutely fabulous. You know, she was the worst of the bunch. She looks show class. I mean, she looks like a show class pony now, and if you'd seen her when I first saw her, you thought that, you know, she was on her last legs. So she's done remarkably well.
So that's Maddie, and we'll go to see the next 2.
Hello. He looks absolutely super. You know, he was confined in a stable with the upper door, well, both doors shut and locked away in the dark, completely pitch black. So I think that he's now got a super life in front of him.
Yeah. So the next one is Gypsy.
Good.
So this is Gypsy.
Lovely. Oh, she's looking good. She is looking lovely, isn't she?
She looks really, really well.
Yeah. Super. Golly, the last time I saw her, she was half of this weight. I mean, she's filled out superbly well, isn't she?
Yeah. So we're going to turn them out in their paddock now. They just go out for a couple of hours a day. Are you happy with that?
Very much so, yeah. Yeah, they look absolutely super, and I'm so pleased with the way in which the staff here have brought them back to a semblance of normality. They really do look good. People often ask me about what I think is the good part of this job, and I think what we've just seen explains it perfectly. Here are 3 horses, 3 out of 4, that had the most dreadful start in life. They were in a bad way when we saw them and when they were taken, and now look at them. They are absolutely super. They're doing exactly what they should be doing. They're fit, they're well, they're healthy, and they've got a life in front of them. Something they didn't have when we first saw them.